Hello, this is Pratul Sharma, and this is my final project in the course Human Factors in AI offered by Coursera and Duke University. My topic is a travel recommendation system using machine learning. Approximately 100 million Americans take vacations annually. There's an increased demand for short-term trips called staycation. But when it comes to planning for a vacation, it's very hard and frustrating for someone to choose which places to go, what to do, and how to plan the itinerary that will work for the entire family. It takes a long time to browse the internet to find the perfect vacation spot and then decide among the family members and book the ticket. So how can you help a consumer choose where to go for family vacations throughout the year? Let's look at the various steps that the user will execute leading to the booking and taking the vacation. So typically, a consumer will decide first on a budget and then prepare a short list of desired destinations that have not been visited for the last few years, and then browse the internet or other media to find more information and travel deals to further reduce the list. Then try to choose the destination. If found, then the user goes and books the ticket. If not found, then the user may go back to the process of choosing the destinations again. And sometimes the user gets frustrated and either choose not to take the vacation or book a trip at the last minute, which is not very satisfactory. So we can actually eliminate those first two steps of finding, shortlisting the trips by machine learning model, like with a recommender system. So if we implement this system, it will have a user interface, which will take input from the consumer and then provide monthly recommendations or recommendations at periods that user chooses on some trips that the user may take. Then the user can click on the individual trip to get more details on trip plans and booking information. So this system will have a machine learning model and will use historical travel data and other environmental information, uh, which will basically be used to provide the recommendation. Now, if we develop such a system, this system will use historical data from the consumer and which will be collected from the consumer and including stored data from, say, Google account. And it will have personally identifiable information like name, address, birth date, etc., or location. So in that case, since it has PII, the system should be compliant with all the privacy laws, including fair information practices. So that create the following obligations. So the obligations are the rights for individuals to get privacy notices, how PIIs are used and the data access. Systems to provide a notice to the user, providing details on how these PIIs are used. And the UI should provide choices to the user on which information should not be used and get online consent from the user. User should have the option to access and update the data as well. So the system should have full control over the PII and should have authentication mechanism while collecting the information from the user. The data should be also maintained with accuracy. The data should be collected as described in the privacy notice, and the PII should be stored in the system as long as needed for that purpose. And when the user ends subscription to the service, all user data should be deleted within the time limit as specified by data privacy law of the country where the data and the user reside. There should be also accountability. The system should document and communicate the accountability for the data, ensure compliance with the applicable regulation, and have options for the consumers to report issues. So these are the privacy considerations that we should adhere to. We should also adhere to the ethical standards of fairness, accountability, and transparency. Now, bias can get introduced at any stage of during model development, during data collection, during defining the labels, training and evaluation, deployment, or even the feedback loop. So the system will be trained with data from users in various demographics and tested for fairness that any user gets similar performance while using the model. So the bias that can be introduced can be mitigated using a data set, which for collecting data to reduce that or eliminate the bias. The model will also be trained with a variety of data in various demographics to minimize bias during the training and validation process. The system will provide a way for users to report any issues they find, including inaccurate results and inappropriate content, thus showing accountability. There will be documentation for the source of data that the recommender system uses, historical travel-related data, user preferences, and environmental data to provide recommendations that's giving transparency to the user. So these are the ethical considerations. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.